Friends, shit posters, sectorites, lend me your ears. I have been the victim, like all of you, of sweeping. Across forums and chats all over our great empire. But this particular sweep job, this particular crime screams out against the entire sector. Never before have we seen such a violation of piety than by this sweep job in the Kino Casino thread. And the story here, the narration is simple. What were people doing in a thread dedicating to A-logging? They were A-logging. And we may have some issues with exactly the format of the A-logging. Perhaps the pedo stream incident, it's been repeated too much. Perhaps we could be covering Beezer. These are questions of tactics, not questions of loyalty. And so, when your fellow countrymen, citizens of this sector, decided to do what the purpose of the thread is, which is A-logging, what was the response of the loathsome, the parasite, the sweeper? But to ban and sweep over an entire page of the Kino Casino thread. And here's the evidence. Up until now, it has only been speculated. People only watching as it occurred could see it. But here is the evidence that the sweep job has occurred. And like I said, this is a crime that cries out across the entire empire of the sector. And so what do I propose? What do I propose that all good sectorites do? It's a very simple thing. It's to return order to the A-log thread for Kino Casino. And what does order look like? What is the pious, the virtuous thing to do in an A-log thread? It is to A-log. And they hate more than all else the red all caps posts. And let me be clear, they should not all just be repeating the pedo claims over and over and over again. There is a plethora of information that could be communicated with the red all caps, so that each post is unique. Each post is like a new, perfectly formed, vicious body blow against the terrible boxer of Worski. And you may say, but it only takes one shot to knock out the Worski. But these blows are not just at Worski. They're to the entire sweep peasant servitor army that includes Josh. It includes the Kino Casino clips, their literal clip channel in the thread, to all the fans. And you will have plenty to talk about with these red all caps. And so what is the logical order of what I'm suggesting? If Josh is going to argue with people in the DSP subforum about how they're not A-logging right, if he is going to argue in the gym thread about how they are not A-logging right, then perhaps we should show him exactly what good, pious A-logging actually looks like in the thread. And you may say, is this not a call to arms? And yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. The most banned website on the internet, the one that has almost no scruples about what it posts, that makes this appeal to free speech to the point of forming a not 501c3, but a 501c4, and we'll talk about that later, should have no issue with this call to action. And so let's talk about some possible counterarguments. Some like-minded citizens may say, but the red all caps distract away from other things, like Joey Beezer. The red all caps focus too much on the one pedo stream. The red all caps might get you banned. And to those people, even though I do believe they are speaking in good faith, I would say this. The red all caps can contain within them anything. They can contain within them the Beezer stuff, the sex slave stuff. They can contain with them the highlights, the various React images that are hilarious that you can find all over Twitter. They can contain all of A-loggery under the sun. They do not necessarily have to all be that. To the point that, oh, we'll get banned for being off topic. Shall we shed tears about that which has already occurred? About these crimes that already, their evil, cries out of the entire sector? Do not be afraid of martyrdom in the Kiwi Farms threat. Do not be afraid of the wrath of Josh. For every person that gets banned, every account that gets banned, another shall be created. This isn't, you don't have to submit your ID. You don't need to put any special information or any of this stuff. This is full on, just make another account and keep posting. And you may say, well, what if we get IP banned? Then you shall get a VPN. They're very easy. You shall onion browse. You shall use all these tools that Josh himself advocates for. Now, what about those who say, well, maybe we should organize this a little more. Maybe we need the big Beezer post. Again, why not both? Why can't we do both? The only reason a person would not take up this proposition to go and post red all caps in the thread until not nary a Janny can even show the tip of his broom without being bashed down is out of fear and cowardice. Was Ralph afraid when he broke his restraining order with Faith Vickers 3,000 times by saying he'd come on her grave? Was Rakeda afraid when he gave cocaine to his child? Was Dixon Does the Sector afraid when he showed his bald head? No. And these guys are heroes for a reason, because they are not afraid. And if there's one person you should not be afraid of, it is the ever-changing wrath of the seething cuck-rage janitor. And that's Josh. So in conclusion, I say that the sweeping of Saints, it's the seed of the sector. To be sweeped and to take the screen post of your sweeping when you've made good points in all caps, when each all caps post brings up yet another in the long line of crimes of Kino Casino. And the reason the show is shit, whether it be about Bert Kreischer or anything, or any from trivial to important, that this is your duty. And Kill Kino Casino brought up a good point about how ever since this dark age has taken over the sector, the age of Kino Casino, there's only two shows. There's it and Josh. And, you know, there used to be all these people streaming, all this crazy shit used to happen. It used to actually be, you know, it used to actually be unpredictable what would occur, and it was fun. And stuff like this, like going in and using the thread for what it's made, is in that tradition. So let's look at exactly the thread here. And I'm going to play right now. Apparently he mentioned on his stream, Seething and Coping, about this. And like I said, the narration here is really simple. All people were doing was A-logging the thread. They were A-logging Kino's Casino. There was some stupid argumentation about the pedo stream. And this guy decided to get into the ethics of breast sizes and all this just absolutely insane shit. And the fact that this guy didn't get put up on a fucking cross for some of his defenses, that if you were to make anywhere else, Josh himself would speak out about it. It just speaks to how captured this thread had become. So they argue back and forth. And eventually, like I said, ABG gets swept like a whole page of his post. And it's funny, I predicted literally like in here, I said that Josh is going to come into this thread. He's going to think that it's ABG the one shitting it up, even though he's literally doing what the thread is for, which is talking shit about the topic, and then be the one who gets swept. And that's exactly what happened. And this apparently booty blasted Josh so much that he decided to seethe about on his show, which I have right here. And we're gonna see exactly what he says here, because I haven't heard this yet. Hold on.
Let's start with the old Monero super chats, and then I'll catch my way up. Last stream I did in full was the 23rd. I'll read after the 20th.
It's funny this is during the like reading super chat segment. So like, not only was this something that he was thinking about and just waiting for an excuse to seethe about, but he got baited into it. Like in the most obvious and silly way.
For 464 says, Glorious Kiwi Emperor, when you get your hands on the Ricado footage, do you think you could react with the Casino Boys? We like it when you make uppercase I internet friends. Apparently not. I said something positive about PPP.
Okay, something positive. Let's be clear. And you know, it's on the channel. You can go into the past stream. Something positive means literally a like 5-paragraph English 101 essay recounting the history, like Herodotus's histories. Well, I don't want to insult Herodotus because it turns out he was right about everything. But Herodotus' histories of the sector where literally every line is wrong, and he says in there that he's their biggest fan. So he's going to try to downplay it here for the Maddie people because they don't know any better. They're not going to go look at this thread. Most of them are just to watch the show, right? To try to filter the sector out, the good parts of the sector out into this more adulterated, impure formulation that he presents on his show.
Basically did a deep lore dump on PPP, and people are like, oh my god, he's in love with PPP. And it's like, no, this motherfucker has been...
How can you say no? The literal first line of the post is, I am PPP's biggest fan. If that ain't love, and then you said he gave you Stockholm Syndrome, but...
around for 10 fucking years, and he has a very weird history. Like, he didn't just convene in a gutter one day. He didn't just, like, it's not like...
Yeah, history you don't seem to know anything about. That's why people are making fun of you. It's a combination of the sycophancy about someone who spent most of those 10 years calling you a pedophile, combined with the fact that it's all incorrect, which is why I say, like, a more conspiratorial-minded person would propose that you did that on purpose because you're trying to create this creation myth of Kino Casino for the people in the thread.
Well, a Whataburger dumped the fat from the refuse bin into the gutter, and then PPP spawned out of it. He's been around for a long time, and he's always been one of the most interesting people in the sector, okay? And I remember back when he was just a guy with like a webcam doing shit with Godwinson.
Yeah, do you remember when he was calling you a pedophile, buddy? Do you remember when he was doing that as he was doing stuff? And then that's the other thing about the Godwinson stuff. He gets that completely wrong. Is he says that the breakup with Godwinson happened after like they moved to be monetized, which isn't true at all.
And everyone got mad at me and was like, don't you know that Andy Worski streamed child pornography on February 28th, 2019? And it's like, nobody fucking said anything about Andy Worski.
Okay, first of all, his post does say something about Andy Worski. Okay, so two things. Why this is so stupid. It's a Kino Casino thread of which Andy Worski is half of. So he's pertinent to the thread. Number two, your own post had a section about Andy Worski about how you don't like think much about him.
Nobody said anything. Nobody has ever said anything about Andy Worski ever for any reason, okay? It's PPP and the OBS guy, all right? Let's not mix words here. Stop giving me shit. I get to enjoy Yeah, the Kino Dogma 2007 or Dogma 2007. You have to understand these things.
Which you don't.
PPP and Surfer were living together after the Godwinson arc. It was.
Yeah, exactly. And people are just, yeah, you're
Look, don't even get me fucking started. I can recount the whole PPP arc. Okay.
No, you can't. It was all wrong. I went over every line. Every part of it was wrong.
Off the top of my head, because he's been around.
Yeah, and it was all wrong off the top of your head. Like everything off the top of your head is wrong, even though you have access to all the information.
For a long time, and he's always been like a.
Which is why people are clowning on you. Which is why people are sending in like bait super chats that you're falling for.
A little upstart causing problems for people. Okay. He was homeless and cold. That's right. I don't know. I might do a watch along with him. I'm not sure. OAN for 150s. That's
okay. So there's that, and then also apparent. Well, let me finish the thread first. So he gets swept basically. There's also this funny shit about people sending in money and them saying it's this Milk Sports guy or whatever. But yeah, and what's the response to this? What's the response of openly talking about this? Of seething on your show because of a bait super chat? The thread gets even better from our perspective, but against his. And you get all the red text. And I'm telling you guys, I understand, one of the counter arguments to what I'm proposing, which is to keep filling this thread with red text is, well, Kiwi Farms I don't want to use Kiwi Farms. I don't want to be a Kiwi farmer. First of all, buddy, I've made this point before. Half these people in the sector that you're talking about are Kiwi farmers. Squire is a Kiwi farmer. Persip was a Kiwi farmer. Even Dixon Does the Sector in one of his videos admitted that he has a Kiwi Farms account. So let's be clear. We were in the sector. All of us were in the sector before anyone posted on Kiwi Farms. I was following this shit in the sector before I made any account on Kiwi Farms. That's why I was able to correct all the history and all of this. So, you are what you were born into, where you come from. So yeah, we got all the red text. More of this, and look, they're all different posts. These cannot be banned for spam. And if they are, then again, it's the blood of martyrs, okay? Because they are actually pointing out different things, and there's just so many things to point out. And one thing I want to do is I brought up there's some complaints about just focusing on the CP stream. I do think that that's valid to say that that's not strategically the way to go for whatever that matters. There should be a Beezer mega post. There's some talk about a Beezer thread getting made. That's fine. I kind of want it to be in this thread, though, because this is where it's all happening. If a Beezer thread gets made, it's going to be like some other people, I don't want to say, but who have a thread where it just languishes in the corner of the site because nobody cares about them. People care about Beezer because of his relationship with Kino Casino in the after show. So I think maybe the priority should be to get a good comprehensive post. And look at this. This is Kino. More of these. Look. And this goes over a whole bunch of stuff. Every page should just be this. And just, inviting more sweeping. It's only going to get worse. Just like with the Simpspiracy. It's basically the same thing. Is Josh makes a new friend of someone who hated them. Or talks shit or whatever. Reconciles. And then goes out of his way to fight with his own users on his website who are just using it for its stated purpose. And then he eventually gets betrayed. And then everybody brings this up as a reason why, this guy is just as much of the lolcow as the target. So never forget that this is Simpspiracy 2. And, some of you maybe weren't around for the first Simpspiracy, or you didn't have an account, or you weren't active. And there's some FOMO. There's some stolen valor about this. Well, this is your chance. When your grandson is sitting on your lap and asks you what you did in the Simpspiracy 2, you won't have to say that you were shoveling shit in Housemeister's stream. Which is not a dig on Housemeister. I just mean you weren't just sitting around watching. You can say you posted the red text in the thread and made Josh spurg out on his show. And yeah, I mean, even some of their fans are starting to turn on them here because the show has been so bad. And obviously the gun road, they've there's so many angles here. It doesn't just have to be the pedo stream thing. So just pick an angle you like and dedicate yourself to it and go in. And apparently there's brony stuff in this stream. He talks about My Little Pony or something crazy like that. Hold on. I know that he found Card Posting, which is this small channel on YouTube run by someone who's very obviously quite autistic, who gives rundowns on quote alt-right memes. And it's funny that he got found because I found this guy a little while ago because he has a video about Sneed that's really funny, where he talks about Sneed as if it's an academic topic. And he has a zillion videos all on all these different things. And I knew this guy was going to get found eventually because some of the titles and stuff it's all Dog Whistles 101 are just asking to be to be laughed at.
Joshua Moon know about bronies, and the entire point of this 8-minute long video, I think, can probably be summed up in like the last 30 seconds of it. So this transcript. He talks to me directly, by the way. And it's like
he has a couple videos where he talks to Josh directly. It's weird because this guy almost comes across as like a former fan, because he does seem to be generally aware of some things. He's just autistic, so he can't like tell stuff that's just funny, like posting Sneed or whatever, from some kind of like alt-right conspiracy. I guess he's like vaguely on the left. I don't know. Like, so like you got autists like this, it's hard to even really put them politically. Have you spoke about this? No, I'm going to cover that too. Don't worry. When I get to Ricada, I'm going to talk about that. It's funny. I said before it happened that I thought the reason he was doing it on Keanu's stream was because he was going to say some stuff that's like super borderline defamation, and that the KC was like, yeah, don't do it here, do it on Keanu, so she's the one who gets hit. But then he goes on and then just gives like the basic 101, like 5-year-old reheated TV meal of the Ricada stuff, and then ends it with 2 completely unverifiable claims from anonymous sources of just like random stuff. I thought Card was a high level dude. Okay. It's so funny you say that, because when I first found this channel, I was with some friends, because we were just like internet spelunky on YouTube, right? And I just like typed in Sneed on the bar. And we watched his videos on Sneed and some of his other ones. And I think I was with like 4 people. At least 2 of them thought that he was a troll. Thought that it was like a really high level troll. And I was like, dude, this guy has like 1 million videos. There's no way. And he just gives off like actual authentic autism energy that I don't think it's a work. I guess him calling out Josh kind of speaks to it being a work, because he like sees an opportunity to get some, to like get involved or whatever, but I don't know. That's back to the Gabe thing. So yeah, I thought that he was going to say some really crazy shit, and then he didn't. He just did a total like reheat stream. I didn't watch it all, because I think I was actually watching Kill Kino Casino's stream, because he was streaming at the same time, and he briefly looked at it, and it was just nothing. And the funniest part about the 2 funniest things about that were, number 1, Ricada told the Coke. It means like Ricada told the choke slam story for no reason. He just totally like whiffed the swing on what was going to get revealed. Number 1. And then number 2, immediately afterwards, Keanu snakes Gabe, and they get into this autistic fight. And I'll say this, I was wrong about my prediction that he was going to say some super defamation shit, and that's why he was on the stream. However, I feel like the general incompetence at display, and the like just stupidity, and then also him immediately getting into a fight afterwards, does support my theory that Gabe is actually just like a retarded schizo that's getting dog walked by KC, and not the other way where Gabe controls them.
It's like kind of performative. There we go. See, he's in a shed in Australia.
Ah, Mr. Moon, hello there.
What? He's like, he comes in like it's a okay.
Sorry to interrupt your live stream and everything. I was just hoping to ask you a few questions about bronies in particular, if you don't mind.
So, even scripts it so that it logically it makes sense that it's an interruption to his gay breakup with his boyfriend perspicacity. The audio mixing's way over the place. Randomly posted 2 hours after he had a gay breakup with his boyfriend perspicacity that it's been fun. Now a lot of people are like, no, Ralph, don't do it. Just begging Ethan.
Didn't make heads or tails of it. You said that picture is a derpy hooves, I believe. Now see.
Whoa. Dude, okay, if card posting actually makes a real point here and reveals that Josh is a brony, that's one of the funniest shits I'll ever see, because this guy's like a nobody. He gets like he's like me, he gets like 200 views on all his videos, and then he, you know, and they're all like really autistic. If he scores a W here against Josh, that's so fucking funny to prove that he's a brony.
I'm 25. I'm a grown man. I don't know what that means.
Based.
Luckily, my wife, Mrs. Cardlumbo, well, she knows this stuff.
You're not married.
She's the same age as
You're not married.
Mad. Josh Cuck Rage. Hold on, why don't I have this on the screen? I wasn't showing it before because obviously Josh's stream is just like nothing, but here you can see this guy.
In 2010,
Sorry.
She knows.
That's so funny that he says he's married, and then Josh is like, no, you're not, I swear.
It's My Little Pony stuff. Makes sense. That's about the only reason someone would know this stuff. Unless. Well, anyways, she tells me this Derpy Hooves is a My Little Pony character. And not just any character, but a fairly out-of-the-way background character at that.
If you don't know, Derpy Hooves is the fan name for a pony in My Little Pony.
Okay, Mr. Expert's coming in here to tell us the fan name of Derpy Hooves. I think Card Posting's going to get the W here. I think he's going to be right. He's going to prove that Josh is a brony. And it's funny because he did it in kind of a not autistic way, is by baiting him in, by making this video, calling him out without like a ton of evidence or whatever, just from one comment. And then Josh comes in here, is like, no, I'm not a brony. Let me talk about bronies for 20 minutes. It's kind of like the same thing with the Kino Casino thread, where he's just so easily baited into this.
Who has weird eyes, like she's cross-eyed. And I know this because she's probably the most popular character besides the main four. And I know this because
the main four.
I'm a 32-year-old man, which means I do know what My Little Pony is, because
how is this disproving his point? Like, this is just... This is like you get accused of kidnapping and you walk in and you say, I didn't kidnap him, I killed him. Like, okay.
Because in my era, it was a weird flash phenomena where a bunch of adult men decided to watch My Little Pony. And then, like anime
yeah, apparently you were among them.
faggots, they decided to post absolutely everywhere about My Little Pony and dissect every frame of this fucking kids show as if it was the most brilliant thing ever. I once had a girl, and I was trying to get laid, so I entertained this. I know much more about My Little Pony than I should as
okay, so now we got the cope, which is... No, it was totally... Okay, first of all, the fans of MLP were not women. That's why they were so gross, is that MLP was for little girls, and it was a bunch of middle-aged men who liked it. And so it was very clearly... It had, like, predator energy, like this was Predators or something, trying to work their way into, like, a little girl's community. So when you're coming in here and saying, "Oh, I swear the only reason I know about bronies is because a woman I totally like have talked to was into it," kind of contradicts your own narrative here about who the MLP people were.
consequence of this. They're called Pegasisters, by the way, when they're women. So this Pegasister once shared with me a honest-to-God economic journal article written at the peak of this. And it was a deep dive exploratory thesis about the economy of My Little Pony and how the way that there's an episode in particular.
Okay, does this sound like something that someone told you or that you read? Because the way he's talking about this is like how you talk about a paper you read like a couple years ago. Like, remember when I was during the riot stream where I brought up that paper that I had read a few years ago about when riots escalate? Obviously, I don't remember like exact data points in it. I remember the general gist of the article and whatever because I read it myself. If someone had described that article to me, I would like be able to articulate it even less. This sounds like something you read, buddy.
Where Applejack, who's the best pony in case you're wondering, Applejack is working a farm and her farm is an apple orchard.
Applejack is the best pony. Okay, so we've gone from I only know about this because someone else to I have a stake. Here's my argument.
So she has to collect apples. So the way that she collects apples ordinarily is she will go up to a tree and then use her back hooves to kick the tree, and the apples will fall down into a basket. And that is how she collects apples. And the thesis of this economic journal, which I read in full, was about how the economy of My Little Pony would have those who have and those who have nots, because Applejack must till the earth, honestly, using her kicks to collect apples. But in that episode, because she falls behind on work, her friends help. And the flying ponies and the magic ponies collect the apples much, much faster than she does ordinarily, which means that she does the slave labor without any kind of efficiency. And the high-tier magic ponies and flying ponies could theoretically do that work much faster, but choose instead to have slave earth ponies to do it for them. So,
what the fuck are you talking about? Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about? Can we get a Again, does this sound like an article he didn't read? Does this sound like an article someone just, vaguely explained to him? Or does this sound like something he read?
Because she falls behind on work, her friends help. And the flying ponies and the magic ponies collect the apples.
Where's...
apples much, much faster than she does ordinarily, which means that she does the slave labor without any kind of efficiency. And the high-tier magic ponies and flying ponies could theoretically do that work much faster, but choose instead to have slave earth ponies to do it for them. So it was kind of like a weird explore. I don't know why the fuck I remember this, but I remember reading this entire fucking thing and thinking it was the weirdest shit ever. So I remember many years later about how...
Right. Did you know that the creator of that Friday Night Funkin' mod with the weed-smoking emo SJ...
We gotta make this meme. We gotta just... We gotta make it where it's just this part of his video explaining this weird economic theory.
The magic ponies and the flying ponies and the inequality that was inherent with them having special abilities, but the earth ponies not having any special abilities, was a reflection on our society and the haves and have-nots. How the Indians are the earth ponies and the white people are the Pegasuses and the flying ponies. and the unicorns. And then I think he says something at the end. Has a little.
Since it seems like I might have caught you in something embarrassing here, how about you make your confession now? And it'd save the fellas over at the base department a lot of time figuring out whether it needs to be wall or rope this time.
Threatening me. They're saying that once they know about my dark pony secret, I will be forced to face the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think card posting's got a point here, buddy. I think that there's a reason why people hate bronies, and it's because, like I said, it comes across as like an extremely predatory community on something that's supposed to be for little girls. And this is so funny because this dovetails exactly the point I was making before, where there's this narrative that all the bad stuff with Josh was in the past. He's a good boy. He's reformed. His reputation isn't fucked. And then you get this shit where it's like, let me tell you about my economic paper about My Little Pony. Like, card posting is right. This is a W from him. Is that this is an embarrassing revelation. That you are a unironic, like My Little Pony head.
Posting has outed me. I'm sorry. I come from 4chan. I come from a very strange era where people watch My Little.
I come from 4chan. That gives across like Boogie. Remember when Boogie said that? When he this is some ancient fucking lore. Hold on, let me find this. Basically, there was an old interview. This is like one of, Boogie like reinvents himself and claims like a new past every fucking year or whatever. This must have been in like 2017. He was in some kind of interview with, I think, Nicholas Eats Oreos back when he was a little edgier, and some other guy where he was like trying to get street cred. And so he was talking about how he loves 4chan and like loves the N-word or something. Hold on. Like when he says like, I use 4chan, so I know, so it's okay that I know I've read an economic paper. Oh, here we go.
On June
Wow, I think this short is actually just going to straight up sum it up.
1st, 2023, Boogie2988 talked to Turkey Tom about his relationship with 4chan. And of course, in pure Boogie style, he bounced around the topic before trying to massage the truth.
So I thought on Baited you were like, I was a huge
Yeah, so it was on Baited where he said that he loves 4chan.
4chan head.
Oh yeah, no, I grew up saying the F word all the time.
That's literally Josh right here. It's just like, okay, guys, the reason why I'm pondering the economic theory of Applejack is because I use this thing called 4chan, dude.
You said it on 4chan.
I use the MLP word all the time.
You were like a big time poster.
Much more of a reader.
you
I
say
might.
That's literally I wasn't an MLP head. I just read it all. I just read economic theories about it. I just know the names of all the characters.
On that podcast?
I don't think I would because it wouldn't be true.
But on more than one occasion, Boogie claims to be much more involved with 4chan than he now claims.
Hell, 4chan is my roots, but I figured I'd just go back to my roots and just say, hey guys, I'm one of
It's the same thing.
you.
And this wasn't the first time. In October of 2014 on PKA,
I went to 4chan and I'm like, why are you rating me? I'm one of you. I've always been one of you.
and in 2009, in his own
Josh be like, I am one of you to the ponies.
Pony. And like with anime, I know a lot about it just by osmosis. And as a
Yeah, osmosis called reading it. Okay, dude, buddy, it's one thing if you like know a couple. I don't even want to like even sweep a little bit here, but you were talking about an academic paper about the economics of MLP. That is not a. I heard this in the bathroom, like two guys talking. Like, no, you read this.
person who enjoys
It's
music,
not osmosis. It's literally not osmosis. It's direct intervention.
I happen to know about pony music as well, against my will. There we go.
Okay, we're not listening to the pony music. All right, so there's that. Really not beating the allegations on that one. Yeah, let me do the Gabe thing, I guess. Hold on. So basically, I mean, I guess I really covered it. Gabe hypes up this whole thing, says he's going to go on and BTFO Ricada. I thought he was going to say a bunch of defamation and on behalf of Kino Casino. He goes on, he recaps stuff everybody already knows who's like following this at all, and then drops two allegations from anonymous sources that are unverifiable. One of them that he hit his kid, but like he was being very weasel word about it. He was like, he hit the kid, but like not really. Like it was discipline. Let's see if Alyssa has the clip. Yeah, and then after Keanu like engaged into a fight, she has Ethan Ralph on, which is just epic. Very good move. I'm serious. I'm glad she did, because inviting Ethan Ralph into these things always makes them more interesting. The other thing that happened with Rekieta is Harden's like initial movement to get the body cam footage got declined. And the state's argument is kind of wacky. I'll be honest, that they're saying it was a clerical error, that it was submitted as evidence, and that they then had a hearing to correct that error, of which no opposing party attended, and was just like in a back room, basically, like in an empty courthouse with no one else there, and that they changed it. That's like crazy. And I don't think that's the end of this whole body cam thing. Obviously, I mean, it makes sense that Rekieta's like celebrating it. It is like a W for him right now. But I just, like I said, the argument made there is crazy. Is that it is a clerical error, because like when we're talking about FOIA, you're talking about like a rights issue, and you generally don't get to violate those and then say that it was like a mistake. And he talked about like suing the county maybe. He's not going to do that because it would just cost him more money than he'd probably get out of it. I guess he could think that they're just going to pay him out. Like if the corruption theory is true, which the corruption theory is really funny because we've gone like back and forth on that. First, it was the city's plotting against me, and that's why they sent the police here, and they planted the coke, which is something he has said before, as crazy as that sounds. Or the city's trying to cover for me now. I don't really know. I think the city just wants this all to go away. They don't like Candy Ojai County only existing in people's minds because of this shit. And so that's kind of why they don't want the body cam footage to come out. Headed to appeals court, yeah. But again, there might be an issue. He might be right that there's an issue of showing the body cam footage to the wine lady. But the idea that the state can just get out of disclosing it if it would otherwise be disclosed for freedom of information by saying it was a clerical error is just wild to me. He also mischaracterized. He said that Harden was only doing this because Josh is bullying him into it, which doesn't make sense because Josh is not the one suing for the body cam footage. Harden is actually suing himself, and then has his own counsel. So that just doesn't make sense. I just chalk that up to whippet brain, doesn't know what's happening. It's just weird because it would be understandable if he tried to make an argument like that. He's just like, yeah, I'm not really following it. I'm just trying to get on with my life. That would be probably the best thing he could say. But he says that, but then is then super obsessive and mad about everything. So it's like you're both invested and not actually know what's happening. There's also an embarrassing photo of him with his throuple. Who really cares, honestly? It was funny to hear Kino Casino not even try to cope for Gabe. And I honestly think that it's still going to they're still going to be connected. It's so clear that even though Gabe said at the end he's like, I'm exiting the sector, this is the last thing it's just not true. He said shit like that before and it never works out that way. So the next thing is Ethan Klein, our based Jew. Our based IELF is suing everybody. Is suing Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron. And I know that generally in this whole arc, I kind of indicated that I'm more on Ethan's side here because I think he was actually wronged by the Skulls and by the CPS call, and people trying to cope for that is stupid. I think that the reason for the grievance from Denims and everybody is ridiculous. They agree on everything. It is just a Hassan dick measuring thing. It is just a I want submission thing. All that being said, I've skimmed one of these lawsuits. I'll go over them in full right here. I don't like these lawsuits, really at all, for two reasons. Number one, the weakest arguments Ethan's has ever made in his favor have been revolving around these lawsuits. So there's one that he already has against Noah Sampson, who again I still really don't know who that guy is. I watched that interview with him. I just am not as familiar with the left the sectard, I think is the term we came up with, the leftist sector, as I am with other places. But if I recall correctly, that lawsuit might get slapped. Slap is the laws that a lot of big litigious heavy states have to prevent frivolous litigation. The other thing he threatened that I think is part of this, which is really bad, is suing anonymous Redditors. I mean, that's literally Patrick Tomlinson. That's what Patrick Tomlinson did. He tried to sue to de-anonymize random posters on ONA and Kiwi Farms. And he got rightfully shit on for that. So the idea of suing into anonymous Redditors, like the whole idea of taking this to a lawsuit is one problem I have. Problem number two is what he chose to sue for. And we'll get into his arguments. Like I said, I haven't actually read all these through. So maybe he has a good argument. I don't know. But from what I skimmed, I really didn't like it. Is he suing over copyright? And I have an interest in the DMCA and about how it applies to YouTube, specifically around the concept of false claims. I personally think that there's basically one line you could change in the DMCA that would change the standard of prosecuting a false claim that would do a lot of good to prevent them through an indirect effect. And so when I see this, that he's essentially doing a copyright infringement claim on React content, and he's trying to create a new standard. At least that's kind of what I had read. I could be wrong. We'll see in a minute. That really, I really don't like that. I don't think that our copyright standard of like talking about shit online should be beholden to beholden to a high elf wood elf blood feud. Okay. And of course there's the stuff in the past where Ethan was a guy who defended in court against the Fine, I think it was the Fine brother, someone like that. I talked about it in my recap stream. And so then to have him do this now is obviously hypocritical. That whole thing, I mean, he's a high elf. He's like a big believer in double standards. That surprises me less. I won't say it's good or it's okay. It just doesn't surprise me. So I want to see what argument he makes on this. And then I'm going to go over this because I have some thoughts on the DMCA and about internet copyright. Purely unprofessional thoughts, but just thoughts nonetheless.
Hi there. My name is Ethan Klein, and my favorite hobby is spending hundreds.
I will say this. I've seen some people talk, like just some posts about this where he just plays up being like this rich, malicious Jew. I kind of think that's hilarious. I won't say that speaks well to his argument or that it alleviates any of the issues I brought up. But if you were to make a video like this where you're announcing this big, essentially content-related lawsuit, playing up being the heel, especially at a time when you have you dropped the coach footage, you dumpster Ian and Issa, you've dumpstered all these people, it is the most entertaining option. And I would be a hypocrite if I said that I didn't want that, if I wanted him to be serious, because I've said before that really all I care about and stuff like this, not going past a certain point that's like unethical, but it's just entertaining.
Of thousands of dollars on lawyers. Today I invite you into my home to share my favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys a story. About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called ReactGate. ReactGate was a debate going on in the streaming community about what constituted fair.
Yeah, okay, so the big thing about this was you had XQC and also you had Hassan doing chair streams where he would put something on and leave. And it's not fair use. I don't want to say that definitively. There are actually cases where you can just straight up copy content and it be fair use. The one everyone brings up, I know it's kind of a meme to bring up because everybody does, but it is a good example, is Akilah Hughes versus Carl Benjamin, where Sargoy of Black Dad successfully argued that simply a venue change alone can make up fair use.
People like Hassan, XQC, and many of the large Twitch streamers would
I wonder if he'll bring that case up in here. He really should, because it is kind of a watershed for this whole legal question.
Watch other creators' entire video on their stream. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak.
I guess I'm technically doing that right now because I'm going to play this whole thing. I guess I'm providing commentary, but this is kind of what I mean. Whereas I really don't want the standards of copyright online to be beholden to this guy's blood feud,
Most egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube with the same thumbnail, the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video. Here's what Lamino had to say about this phenomenon.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work. Or, they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission. Something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But
yeah, this comes across as cuck rage. I mean, obviously the chair streams, like the standard for it not being fair use for this kind of content is so high. Like if Sargon could get away with literally just re-uploading the entire video on a different channel, which is what he did in Akila Hughes versus Carl Benjamin, and that be fair use, it means that the standard is pretty high. I would say that the chair streams where Hassan literally has a chair because he's gotten up and plays a whole video probably reached that standard, but it has to be that extreme.
But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my videos.
Now, understandably, this made a lot of people angry, because why should these content thieves, essentially, get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening? I mean, people don't like injustice, and we all see this, and no, it's not right.
Okay, so he's conflating two arguments here, which is like the ethics of it and the legality of it. I mean, he should know better than anybody that the law is not a test of ethics. It's not a test of morals either. It's a test of a functioning society. So, like, you could say that it's a dick move to do kind of reaction the way he's criticizing. Fair enough. You could even, but to say it's unjust, to say like the law should be changed, that's a higher standard you have to get over.
Debate culminated when XQC...
And for him to say that the law doesn't need to be changed, that it actually already covers this, that just gets into the legal argument. That's not even talking about morals or ethics.
One of the prime suspects called into my show to debate me, in which case I'm sad to report that I was terribly owned. So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright, or like the fact that it's illegal? Does that matter? That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't, because...
Well, that's fair.
Watch me full screen cam, do the fucking worm, then watch your prime... Then watch your prime content.
Do it for a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, not exactly. If you were trying to defend this is not the way to do it, obviously.
I mean, that's content, man. It's original content, at least. The ultimate debate, bro. He hit him with the worm. Oh, why didn't I think of that first? I kid XQC, but he is not the one I'm suing. Despite my criticism, he's not a malicious infringer. But the ones I am suing, you'll see.
So, okay, he's using the word malicious here. Malicious is doing a lot of heavy lifting if this is in the lawsuit. Proving intent in a civil lawsuit is very hard for stuff like this. Here's an example, New York v. Sullivan. So, a lot of people know this, but the standard for suing for defamation a, quote, journalist and suing anyone else are different. So when suing a normal person, you generally do not have to prove malicious intent. You just have to prove that what they're saying is false and it caused you damages. We've talked about this before with defamation. If it's defamation per se, you don't even have to prove damages. Now, because of the Supreme Court, New York v. Sullivan from the late 60s, if you are suing a journalist, you have to prove that they didn't just say something untrue, that it didn't just cause you damages, but that they intentionally, maliciously did it, which is almost impossible. Just think about that practically. You'd have to find like an internal email, because it can't just be a conversation, because they'll just lie, right? You have to find a recording or an email or something that says, "Lol, let's take this guy down by lying about him." And you're just not going to find that at like a major publication. And that's the standard that Ethan is like playing on here. And I think he's going to make that argument here from what I skimmed, is that they're not just stealing his content, they're doing it maliciously. And that's really hard to prove.
Are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hassan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts, when Hassan gets up to go to the bathroom or to eat or to talk to his mom or to do whatever, disappears for an extended period of time and leaves the video playing for his chair. Mr. Chair, they call it.
IDF had warned people to leave the area around the main airport in Sana. Then this.
Yeah, so like I said, the chair streams are he probably has an argument there that would not be fair use.
Do not This operation will result in the killing of hostages in captivity, will result in the death of those
We're community. Well, I've been thinking
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist, they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it?
Is he going to say this was all an elaborate plot? Okay, so that looks good in a video. That does not look good in a lawsuit. To say that you made the content nuke under the express idea to bait them into maliciously breaking fair use calls into question your motives in a lawsuit. Because I talked about this in the Razor Fist one, where I said a lot of the stuff Razor Fist says in the video are really good for like pwning someone online, but are not good for a lawsuit, because if you're suing someone, you kind of have to make yourself look like a bitch because you have to prove that you're a victim. And so when you come in here and say, I guess people are saying it's entrapment. That's not the right word for it. So entrapment requires inducement, and also civil entrapment is kind of a meme. It's mostly just a criminal thing. So I like it, but the problem is it is still something like defense can say. It's just like, this was premeditated. You're malicious. Like, this is proof. Ironically, this is proof of like a malicious intent in some kind of counterclaim.
Second, it was published.
I don't have an issue with them.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video. It's that
well, you just said you did.
I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would.
Don't call it a trap. What are you doing?
We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published.
The thing is, if this was all just an attempt to like make a point online and to make them look bad and make them look stupid, this video would make sense and you probably have a good argument. The problem is when you file a lawsuit alongside of it, it means that you have something to lose. Like you could get to the point where everyone online is on Ethan's side. Fuck Denims, fuck Rogan. Sure, cool, got it, I'm with you. But you lost your lawsuit. So it's like, well, that's like an L you have to carry. So why even open yourself to that possibility?
Now, the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. That's 30 times her regular viewership. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views. And
again, this is like, you have to prove this. Like, this is an argument, again, if you just make it in a video, you show this here, sure, cool, I'll give it, like, it sounds like it, right? But then the standard in a lawsuit is a lot higher to prove that there was, like, collaboration.
Their intentions couldn't be clearer. Here's an excerpt from a stickied post from the Snark subreddit. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch the nuke without showing support for H3. Here's a list of creators who've supported our sub, either...
Okay, so what he's trying to show here is this proves that there was intent around diverting the audience, which is an element against fair use. So, like, one of the reasons why Akilah Hughes versus Carl Benjamin went the way it did was because the idea was anybody watching the content on Sargon's channel would never have watched it on Akilah Hughes in the first place. So they weren't stealing any audience. There was no competition of markets here. But when you have a post like this, this is that. The problem is it's not Denim saying this. It's some random guy on Twitter. Or sorry, not Twitter, Reddit. So then that means you have to now connect this post, not just them, but this specific post and this strategy and what they're saying to Denims. I don't know how you do that.
By engaging with us directly.
I guess there could be a line where Denims himself says, watch this so that you don't give Ethan money. That would be bad if they have that.
Or citing our post in their critique of H3. Here they're offering these streamers as market substitutes for my work. This is the cardinal sin of copyright infringement. The Snark subreddit has been a frequent and persistent infringer. That's how I knew when this video came out, the Snarkers were going to encourage, promote, and push streamers to commit copyright infringement. I should thank the Snarkers, actually. Because of their predictability, they acted like double agents for us, incriminating their favorites.
Yeah, but the problem is, are you suing this person? And if you are, then again, you're making the Patrick Tomlinson mistake. You're not going to de-anonymize this person probably, and if you do, everyone's going to hate you for it. You're suing Denim. Like, Denims would be is the actual target here. It's like who you would collect from, but they didn't make this post.
Streamers and serving.
I'm waiting for him to play a clip where Denims is like, go to this post. I said this post should be made. I agree we should steal Ethan's audience. If there's a quote like that, then okay, cool.
Them up on a golden platter. So thank you, Snark. It's one thing for a subreddit to admit it's engaging in copyright infringement, but how do you get the streamers themselves to admit that they're stealing content?
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement?
No, you could. I mean, that's bad. Well, it's a bad pause. Yeah, so that's pretty bad. That is her directly saying that they want to deprive Ian in your lawsuit. Again, it doesn't directly tie her to that Reddit post, though.
If you tried. Denim's the queen of self-owning.
Like, that would have been worse. What would have been worse is her saying, well, I'm glad you guys are here because I didn't want Ethan to get your views. Also, please go to the Reddit where this post has other people that are doing it so that you can not give Ian even more views.
You prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the...
Okay, so that's partially true. There are copyright you don't have to register. It just automatically is considered to exist. And I'm pretty sure YouTube videos actually fall into that. I don't think you need to register the copyright of YouTube videos. It's just as automatic. Most things are automatic, honestly. The registration, there's a brief period in copyright law between the 50s and the 70s where you kept having to renew. Would have to register and renew your copyright. And it was very immediately, people were like, this is not the way, because people would either forget or there would be disputes about who owns it long enough that it would go out of copyright and then you couldn't re-register it. So this idea you have to register everything is not true.
Main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now. I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically...
he could have made this argument without doing that. It helps, I guess.
I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but...
And something you really don't want to say with the lawsuit. You do not want to say that this is a profit-gaining enterprise. Because the whole idea, and he said it himself, is it's like the market competition thing. The whole idea is that the money you're getting is just compensation for the money you lost by them stealing it. It's not raking in millions of. It's not like, again, it's not supposed to be profitable. I mean, obviously, in the end, a lot of times it is because there's punitive damages and attorney's fees and everything. But like, you really don't want to say that.
The purpose of this is not financial gain. People
there we go. Okay, well, I guess he said that.
XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite.
Okay, but you do if you end up changing the standard. Like, that's the thing, is if your lawsuit, if you propose a new standard for this and you win, like, you are setting the gears in motion for that to become an enforceable standard, and then that will chill people.
I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
The state of reaction content on Twitch is so broken, these creators feel comfortable looking right into a camera and saying outright, hey, I'm stealing this guy's content. Pay me instead of him. This is not a healthy environment. And with people like Hassan reacting to entire TV shows on stream, my fears...
What? Hold on, what? He's just putting on TV shows?
This is not a healthy environment. And with people like Hassan reacting...
Damn, I wish we could do that. I would love to do that. I love Kitchen Nightmares and Bar Rescue and all those shitty fucking grimy ass shows. How come he's allowed to do that? I guess it's on YouTube. That's why. If it's on YouTube, it must be out of copy. Okay.
TV shows on stream. My fear is that Sony or Disney comes along, sues...
Okay, this is all very disingenuous. Like him... He should have stuck with what he basically proposed with the first frame of this video, which is that he's just a litigious high elf who wants to pwn his haters. Like, that's so much more Kino. It's very Ralphian for him to do that. But now he's like, I'm actually protecting these platforms because if we don't stop this now, even though it's been going on for 10 years, and the platform's owned by Amazon, who regularly deals with copyright with Disney and all this stuff, they're going to shut it down. It's like, if they wanted to if that was in the cards, it would have happened.
everybody and sets a devastating precedent that could endanger our
Okay, but
entire...
you might set a precedent with this lawsuit. That's like the point I was trying to make earlier. If you propose a new standard for like copyright on YouTube and reactions, you could set a precedent.
entire field. Now, before I tell you who the 3 people I'm suing are, I just want to make it clear that they all met this very specific high bar of criteria that I set forth earlier.
Well, it's not your criteria. It's the law. Like, that's the point of a law. Like, that's what I mean earlier, where I say it's one thing to make this video where you're trying to make a point and you're opposing someone online. It's another thing to attach a lawsuit to it. Because in the video, you're just appealing to a vague standard of the public and your own, which is what he was doing here. Cool, whatever. People will judge themselves whether they think that's justified or not. When you include a lawsuit, okay, well, now you have to meet that standard. And if you don't, even if you were right vaguely, you're going to look like an idiot.
These people were not targeted based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All 3 are on this list. In fact, they're the only 3, as far as I could tell, that reacted to the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys? Casey Tron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
They do musicals.
I have no idea who this woman is. I have no idea who this woman is. I only know about jeans and hijab McDonald's, hijab Job of the Hut, because they were active in the Ian video, but I don't know who this is. This is blurred because she's ripping. Oh, she was using. Isn't that not allowed? I mean, it shouldn't. It should be allowed, but to do that on stream, I guess it's also not allowed to stream TV shows, and Hassan does that. Whatever.
Are you being serious? Dog, what do you look? You think I made this?
Frogan, who bless her soul.
Well, what did Hassan just say?
Serious? Dog, what do you...
Hassan, Dog Zero, shout out? What?
Look, you think I made this?
Frogan, who bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom? Do I have permission? Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
Well, no, don't leave it playing. That's the whole idea, is that you... What a retard.
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happened?
And Denim's the queen of self-owning. And my God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they have been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault I experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier? Yes. That seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hassan Nasrallah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him on all this stuff, like the denying what happened on October 7th, the rapes and stuff. It's just absurd. And I mean, I don't think you need to be like IDF or defending Israel to acknowledge that happened. So this does make her look stupid. The question is, what does it have to do with the lawsuit? What does it have to do with the justification? I mean, it just makes her look bad, I guess. Is that the idea?
Was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part. Let's take a look at the complaints. And let's start with my favorite of the 3, the very own, the prestigious, the highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Casey Tron.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're going to watch it.
Well, that's a really dumb...
Ooh. That statement was way worse than what Denim said, honestly. Because what Denim said is just like, oh, it's already happened. Like, you've already watched it online. And retroactively, it deprived him. Like, it's still bad. It's just, but to say it before, to be like, stay here so you don't give a view, that's bad.
Thing to say, don't you think? Why are you so comfortable? We've given each complaint
This was the Twitch meta for a really long time. What is it with... that's like, I don't stream on Twitch because it's such a shit show, because there's such a like double standard for everything. But it seems like you simultaneously can't say or do anything, but then some people can stream whole shows, can play whatever music they want. And I mean, that would be nice. The only platform where you can really do that, no matter who you are, is Rumble, but it's Rumble.
A clever little title, and here's Casey Tron's. She smoked more than she spoke. Casey Tron smokes 42 times during her reaction.
So that's the other thing about these lawsuits. I don't have the Casey Tron one because I don't know who she is. But these are written kind of like Kiwi Farms threads in the sense that they're trying to be like funny and informative. And it's not how I would write the lawsuit. I'll just say that. Not that I can write lawsuits, but if I hypothetically was a lawyer and I'm writing a lawsuit, it's not the way you do it. Okay, you don't write it like a Kiwi Farms thread. In fact, one of the 64. Okay, there's no way we're going through all this. I'll say this: the most valuable thing in writing a complaint is concision. It's writing literally not a single word more than you have to, because these judges have to read like a trillion of these, and it's sort of like me when I'm putting on some of these videos that I put at like 2 times speed or whatever, and I get annoyed. It's like that. Obviously, I'm just like having fun, whereas the judges have to do it as their job. But like when they get these 64-page things that don't need to be that, because half of it are Frogan's greatest hits like this, or some other things, it's not great.
And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that could be true. Well, we tallied them up, and lo and behold, there's 15 minutes, 40 seconds of commentary for...
Again, great argument for a video like this, makes no difference in a lawsuit.
18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking.
If anything, it speaks against your argument, because it indicates that there's more of her content. As stupid as that sounds, her smoking. More of her content than yours.
She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote-unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
The fuck are we watching? Oh, is this from the content? Did you have a Stalin speech in it? I never actually watched the whole, because it's like 2 hours. You have a Stalin speech in there? What the fuck?
The complaint continues. Indeed, Casey Tron is often too obliterated to comment on the nuke.
Okay, why is this in the lawsuit? So remember when I said before, good argument for that, not for the lawsuit? That was still when I was assuming it wasn't. Why? Why are you saying this? Why are you disambiguating intent when you have to prove intent in the opposite direction? Because, okay, so here's the thing. Drunk driving, assault, like crimes, right? Generally, I was drunk is not a defense. It's not even a partial defense. You're just considered responsible. In civil law, it's a little more wishy-washy because the standard is different and the subject matter is different. And it makes sense that it should be a little different. So to say like she was too obliterated to even know what she was doing, and then you're also trying to argue malice. Do you see why that, like, do you understand why I'm saying that that's a problem? What is happening? I'm trying to fault, like, oh, I guess it speaks to that she played the whole video, but you wouldn't need to say this to prove that. You just show that she played the whole video.
Instead, stares blankly at her computer screen. In a span of 2 hours and 7 minutes, Casey Tron smokes marijuana, frequently in highly concentrated forms through vaporizers, on 42 separate occasions. At one point, Casey Tron is so wasted that she states, quote, "What is happening? I'm trying to follow, but I've lost the plot." To give you an idea, the majority of her commentary comes down to this.
I don't understand this bit that he's doing.
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
CPM's coming out of Qatar.
What the hell
you
is
kids
going
love anime,
on?
Oops, sorry, I was muted. I was saying, like, this is funny, but if this was just H3 Pwn compilation, Pwns, these guys who react, this is great, cool. This is funny, it's a good argument, but the problem is that you're putting this in a lawsuit that I really don't think he's going to win this. Again, I haven't read him yet, I guess, but if it's like this, he's not going to win.
Right?
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you look? You think I made this? This isn't a music video, Hassan.
And as dumb as all of that is, this is the part that really got her sued.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. Without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're gonna watch it. What the fuck is going on here?
Stating outright that her intention of doing this is so that people who don't want to support me can watch it through her is why copyright infringement laws exist. You could not and should not do that, especially if you're...
True, then why are you trying to speak against her intent by saying she doesn't know what's happening?
Commentary consists of you taking bong loads. At least try to engage with the content. Whoa, what was that? Oh, sorry. That was a flying star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys. Frogan. Reaction by exiting. Here she is getting up to leave the video running as she steps out of the room. Is that transformative? I guess the judge will decide. She said, quote, "It's time to watch the new nuke ethically. Hell yeah." Huh. Very smart to say on camera, by the way. She said, quote, "Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me." Well, you are so welcome, and I'm so glad that you were able to enjoy that day. Her commentary is so non-existent that even her own fans begin to call her out.
I don't have anything to say, dude, because he's cycling the same fucking points over and over again. What more commentary do you need on him repeating the same fucking points for the whole first hour and 1 minute and 32 seconds? It's been the same shit over and over again. This video could have been condensed into 20 fucking minutes. Like, what commentary do you want me to add by, like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, he's mentally ill, and he's having a mental breakdown and uploaded it to fucking YouTube? Are you gonna make at least one good point? What do you want me to make a point on?
Oh, I forgot. She also said, "Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing." You may use the bathroom, Frogan, although I don't advise it.
Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
This into your stomach. And let me state the obvious. Jew and...
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happens?
And they were fucking talking about...
Well, you just pause it. That's it. You just pause the video, right? Like, you get up and you go to the bathroom, you just pause it. They should be watching for you. But if you get up to go to the bathroom and they...
So this is a good point. Like, obviously they should pause it when they get up. So how much a percentage of the video did she not watch but leave playing? Like, that's the sort of, like, argument that you'd have to make. You'd have to say 30%, whatever percent of the video she did not comment over. You have to get that, like, autistic.
They keep watching my video. They're clearly not watching for you, right? As lazy and pathetic as her reaction is, this is not why she's getting sued. This is.
Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me. First time viewer, time to watch the nuke ethically? Hell yeah. I found my way from Reddit. Hi guys, welcome Reddit people. Reddit people, Reddit people. I came from the H3 Snark Reddit. Ethan is so pathetic while Hassan is in Japan. I'm bothered, having a great time. Exactly. We're gonna watch it live, yes. He doesn't want people to know when it's dropping because we're all watching through other streamers. And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
Ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. I said that Casey Trons was the worst. This is now the worst one.
It's the stated malicious intent to steal. They talk about watching ethically, but I learned not to steal when I was 5. Up next is Denims. And honestly, just take a look at this, guys. It's a nightmare on Denim Street. Not only
again, funny stuff. Probably shouldn't be in the lawsuit, though.
Did she chair react, but she was kind enough to write her name right at the top just so that we knew that she was stealing my content and it was her room and nobody else's. Judge, did you know that we're on Denim Street right now? Here's some quotes from Denims. "We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it since he's confirmed it's coming out today.
And prior. That's especially bad.
I'm going to stream it." That is very explicit. Denim said, quote, "Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content." Your content? The Queen of Self-Own included a countdown timer so we could tell exactly how long she was away. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
Right?
You do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
Dude, you should do this.
I haven't.
Okay, so she also did a chair stream. Yeah, again, I hope the lawsuit goes through and shows how much of the videos they were not present to comment on, and then how much they straight up didn't comment on. Like, you have to be very clear about that if you're gonna make this argument.
Alternate.
Like you said, go read Achille Hughes versus Carl Benjamin does that, and that is a lawsuit where the plaintiff lost, and they even went to that effort.
We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views on the nuke. Yeah, I'm gonna stream it. Since he confirmed it's coming out today, we're gonna stream it. If you want to watch it with someone else who's already watching it. You know, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else.
Okay, when he showed the first clip, I was kind of like, oh, that's good for him, but it's like a B+, but he's got like 5 of them now. That's tough.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here, because I'm going to be honest, I did not want to watch that by myself.
Let me also commercialize it by asking you to reward me financially for stealing his content. That is like chef kiss. By the way, Denims had a very successful stream. She had 43,000 people watching her live. Take a look at the title of her Twitch stream. Ethan Klein Hassan Content Nuke Watch Party. A watch party? I don't think that's fair use. Now, Denims, of course, always delivering the goods. She went on this dude's podcast to debate fair use. And would you be surprised if I told you she said a lot of incriminating things in that podcast? The queen of self-own never disappoints.
I want to be clear on my opinion on like filler content and stuff. Like, I think filler content, like, you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a React streamer. And
What do you mean by... Why would you say that and then say you do it? She really is dumb. I already covered this before when she did the fake fundraiser, but that's tough. Like, for her to say that and then also call it filler, like you're adulterating what's actually happening.
I try to do it only when I do it with like Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that, because at least I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team and stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million.
Why would you? This is a terrible interview. This is her like admitting this. I'm starting to come around on these lawsuits working. There's still a couple elements that are troublesome. The malicious element is really hard. But he's kind of making headway on that with stuff like this. And her saying she specifically targets people to do it with for whatever reason.
Million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video.
It doesn't matter as long as it's one and you've admitted it and you've just now quantified it. Like,
it's a lot harder to feel like, I guess, bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very bad about doing that to like a single content creator. The majority of people say that they literally wouldn't watch Hell's Kitchen unless I was streaming it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm reacting hard enough. You know?
Damn, I want to just sit around and watch Hell's Kitchen. I love all those trashy reality TV shows. Love After Lockup, Hell's Kitchen. I guess Persip used to do the what was that show that he used to watch on stream? It was another one of these like trashy dating shows. How did he get away with that? I guess he just deleted the VOD. That would be fun. I don't know if there's any market for that, but that or like Bar Rescue. I like those shows.
You know, I'm sure if you click on a random part in the video, I might not be saying anything, sure, whatever. And I might walk away from the screen, but it's about like the communal thing. It's why like fucking Toast started streaming Death Note. It's not about the actual show at a certain point. It's the same reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch it.
Yeah, this is really bad. Ethan's totally right about how bad this is. Like every other line she's saying is just, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm taking viewers. I'm quantifying those viewers, and like
with other people.
Like, this is the hardest thing to prove usually is intent, and here it is. I don't know if you have that. You don't have that to this extent with Rogan. He showed some stuff, but
a lot of people go to watch streamers on Twitch for their React content.
Cheaters, that's what it was. How do you get away with that without getting banned? I guess you could do it on Rumble, right? Rumble doesn't give a fuck. That would be fun. I don't know what I would do. Maybe Love After Lockup or something. But or just Bar Rescue. I've seen all the like this is what I mean when I say I like these trashy shows. There's like a couple Bar Rescue episodes, like the legendary ones, that might be worth watching.
Almost as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube themselves and watch a bunch of videos. And they probably never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They like going to Twitch because they like to have it as like, this streamer is curating fun content.
Speaking of Persip, is he still streaming? Is he still doing off, guys? Anything interesting happening over there? I know he's going to be streaming all weekend. I'll probably do like a call-in at some point. I'm planning on streaming again tomorrow because I missed Wednesday after I said that I wouldn't. I don't know if he's taking call-ins or whatever. And I also don't know if I would call in to shit on him or to actually participate in the stream. I guess it depends on what people want. If you want me to go in and scream at him, I totally will. But if not, then I won't.
I want to watch.
Like, I'm sure
From
it
the
happened.
Actually, I don't really care. I'll probably just do whatever I want.
people that I've talked to, the people who watch Twitch content are specifically there to watch it so they don't have to scroll through YouTube and find a video they like. If someone watches content,
He's off. Did they end up finding Gator? I was in the chat for a little while just to see what was up while I was pulling stuff up to prepare. If he's streaming tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to stream tomorrow, even though I usually don't. I'll call in if he wants. I won't say whether I'm going to stream at him or not. It'll literally depend upon my mood.
Already said this. If someone watches content on someone else's stream, there is a very low likelihood that they're going to go watch it separately and give you like the view or the.
Oh my god! I can't believe she just. I know I got off topic a little there with Persa, but again, some of the stuff she's saying here is like exactly what you would need. I talked about the New York v. Sullivan standard about how proving malicious intent is like really hard. You need like the golden email that says, "Oh, we're totally trying to like pwn people or whatever." That's like literally what she's doing. She's like, I know I'm stealing viewers. I know it costs people money. I don't care.
Like, or the people who are watching content on Twitch, curated Twitch content on Twitch, aren't necessarily people that would be watching content on YouTube.
That, my friend, is called theft, and you're a thief. And now I'm suing you. This is just a testimony.
Damn, I know not all of you here when I started talking about this, but I came into this thinking this was going to be like a fine video, but the lawsuit was going to be off, was not going to be it, because just lawsuits like this are really hard to prove. I'm coming around. I'm starting to come around to the idea that at least the Demons one, he might have something.
The how brazen and how safe they've, gotten. That she thinks she can go on out in public on video and say shit like, I'm stealing this content because I want to.
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, this is like the golden ticket for defamation.
I'm coping.
I know it's not defamation, but like it deals with a similar level of intent is what I mean.
I know it's stealing. When people watch it with me, they're definitely not going to go watch the original. Like, you are way too comfortable committing crimes out in the open. Well, there you have it. 3 separate lawsuits for 3 separate geniuses. Now, I want to make it clear again, and I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these 3 people and not others.
Well, it's because you don't like them, because they're dicks and they're your enemy. I wish you would just outright say that. You say you've made it clear, but you made it clear at the beginning, and then you started kind of talking about how this is actually going to save like YouTube, because if we don't stop these people, like, just throw that out, man. Don't even go with that. Just be like, I don't like these guys and they've done something illegal, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Honestly, that would be better. You don't need to have, okay, I talked about before how to like do a lawsuit like this, you kind of have to make yourself look like a bitch. It doesn't mean you have to say it's in the public good.
These people not only violated all of the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously. And that's the part that really got me. I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to...
Yeah, but here's the problem, Ethan. This goes back to the issue where you are not the one who gets to determine the standard. Like, fair use standard exists. There's a body of law, and I've made reference to numerous cases when I've talked about this. It's not up to you to decide who's the violator, who should be punished, and who's not. It's like up to the court. And when you write these lawsuits like their Kiwi Farms threads, it makes me think this would have been better just as a I'm pwning denims video, and not I'm pwning denims video, also here's a lawsuit I might lose.
Promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video. I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. Take it to these 3 absolute morons.
And that's one reason I usually don't watch these videos full screen, because so people can see the channel. It doesn't matter for fucking Ethan, but other littler videos.
To state their intention to steal my property on video. And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite.
Is that really an argument? I guess they are all 3 women, and this is the sectard, the left sector, right?
For suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care. But for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say.
Hold on.
To these 3 absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement.
I brought that up before, how he was a guy who did probably the biggest, before Akilah Hughes versus Sargon, fair use React lawsuit. And so for him to do this is a little hypocritical. I don't really have that much of an issue with that, because it's like, This guy crossed the hypocrite Rubicon fucking a decade ago.
Just have this to say. I don't care. What I do hope...
Absolutely. I'm glad that he didn't just include the copyright hypocrisy in there, but also the they're all women. Now, that wouldn't be brave to us, like, in a sector that's like, yeah, dude, fuck it, who cares if they're women? But for this side of things, where, it's all very gay in that way, for him to say that I'm surprised how much this video is winning me over to what... When I just saw this idea proposed, I was very hesitant and thought it was a mistake.
Hope, though, is that you'll support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Yeah, I think that statement is probably the quintessential one of what I keep saying, which is, that's so great for a video like this. It's so Kino, it's King energy. Really bad for a lawsuit. Really bad for a lawsuit to say that.
Watching, everybody. It's been a great time. I'll see you around.
All right, let's look at this one. Do we want to read that? Because now that I've seen that, again, I was saying, like, one of the most important skill in legal writing is concision, and it doesn't look like that's occurred here. Which one should we start? Whichever one we start with is the one we're going to get through the most. So do we want denims or Frogan? Do we want jeans or hijab Jabba the Hutt? I'll at least look at both, but I'm probably only really going to go through one. Vote in the chat. 1 for denims, 2 for Jabba. 1 for jeans, 2 for McDonald's. 1 for Alexandra Marwar Saber. Did you change your name? Marwa Tala. What the fuck? And 2 for Morgan Kamal Majed. The first vote will choose. Because just skimming these, it looks like he kind of writes them like a Kiwi Farms thread. And again, very funny. There's probably going to be funny stuff, but not really the way you want to write a lawsuit. You do not want the judge to have to sift through 80 pages of lol, the nightmare on Denham Street. That's like a really good way for the judge to not look at anything you're doing in good faith and just be like, fuck this guy. All right, we got 2 1s. Let's look at Denham's. I'm not a lawyer. I don't write complaints. But if I was someone who wrote complaints, you do not open your complaint with, like I said, the greatest Kiwi Farms hits of funny quotes. I mean, like, look at this. Like, this is how Kiwi Farms threads are written. Let me prove my point here. Like, they always start with, like, funny quotes and stuff. I guess this one doesn't, but most of them do. Just every word that's more than just what you want to do to make your legal argument really pisses. No, he's not filing pro se. He hold on. Okay. We're calling in. This is who we're calling in. Let's go. This guy looks like he just finished his fucking tour in Lebanon. Whoa, buddy. Okay, so yeah, no, he does have a lawyer here, but this does feel like stuff like this. It's just like, this is like poning them. This is not for lawsuits. So we got funny quotes. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy react. Wrong. Never do this. Never say that you're suing for some great crusade. What is the purpose of copyright infringement? What is the actual claim? Okay? Why am I asking this as a question? You guys don't know that. Well, I shouldn't know, but I'll tell you what it is. I have been harmed. My property has been stolen and I have suffered economic damages. That's what this line should be. It should be, my property has been infringed. I owe money. Not, this is the Great Crusade. Wrong. Over 7 years ago, established a legal standard for... Wrong. No one cares. This is not... Okay, you're not... Again, this is like how you write a YouTube video. This is not how you write a lawsuit. Okay? No, unless this standard that was set by you is going to be directly cited, like the standard set in this, wrong. Don't have it here. There should be not a single, again, concision. Concision is the most important aspect of legal writing, more than anything else, because everything else can be fixed by your intern. Okay, let's be real. So, do not be referring to cases that are not directly cited. Do not be talking about your history that is irrelevant. As a genre, reaction video is very widely. Okay, you might want to define reaction video here. Okay, this could maybe be justified. Reaction videos, short segments constitute fair use. In contrast, reaction videos that are more akin to a group viewing session do not. Okay, well, I'm glad you're actually citing this. Good. This case involves a group viewing session. The group gooning session. This is like what Hausmeister and those guys do when they have a little bit too much to drink and they show the anime shit. It's the group viewing session. Okay, to siphon views and continue revenue away from... Okay, good. Fair enough. Good. Okay, talking about the moderators, that's for another lawsuit. Unless you can prove, again, I brought this up at the beginning, unless you can have a message somewhere that's like... Or Denim saying on stream, hey, go to the Snark subreddit. Hey, they made this post. I endorse it. Don't include this. This is for the other lawsuit. Good. Numbers. You want to see numbers? I would have had this earlier on. I would have been front forward with the numbers. Well, I wouldn't do anything. I would not write a legal complaint. But in a hypothetical world where I did, that's what I would do. Denim's greatly profited from a group viewer session of works through advertising revenue. How much? Get your expert in here. I guess this is the intro. I know that sounds petty, but you do want that. You want to be like, here's my estimate of how much money they made. And in fact, you don't have to estimate that. You can look at the super chats. Isn't that public? I know it is on YouTube. People do the math on that in Kiwi Farms all the time. Oftentimes, okay, good. You have a citation here, but nobody cares how often she does it. All we care about is she did it this one time. Little to no critical bearing. Oftentimes, other times, we don't care about other times. No one cares about other times. We care about this time. All you have to prove is this time, buddy. Don't saddle yourself with more. Again, concision. You don't saddle yourself with proving more than you have to. Does provide. Why? Don't even say that. Why? Why even say that she does it sometimes? Don't do that. I guess if you're trying to prove the point that she was intentional in this one time of not doing that. Maybe. Empty chair reaction. How often and how long? What percentage of the videos? I said that. Again, this is just the introduction. Okay, whatever. Okay, so first complaint. So this is what? 1, 2, 5 sections. This could have been 3. This should have been 3 sections. This is all cut. Most of this is cut. Literally just, this is what a reaction video is. This is the video where she did this. This is why it's not fair use. 3 sections. That's all it should have been. Jurisdiction. Where does Jeans live? I assume Jeans lives in California. Van Nuys? I thought she was rich. Why are you living in Van Nuys? Honestly, why even sue her? That's tough. Oh, okay. This should not be in the lawsuit. The Stark Mods thing. This is just this is just retarded. It's just, for so many reasons. It's strategically retarded. It's lawsuit retarded. You are doing the Patrick Tomlinson, dude. You are being the Patrick Tomlinson where you're trying to de-anonymize people online, which is not only unpopular, but it's just probably not going to happen. It's just a whole nother barrier for something that already has a high barrier. Ozempic dealer. Like, this is just, no wonder this is 80 pages. Do not bring the moderators into it. You don't need them. Like, at first I thought maybe you needed the moderators to prove the intent, and so he'd have to make that connection, but he showed the clips. You got that, buddy. You don't need this. Yeah, okay, so this is a mistake. Whole part's a mistake. Factual allegations. Now, this is kind of where you do have more detail with background. See, what's weird to me, okay, so in legal writing, like the first thing they teach you is IRAC, which is issue, resolution, analysis, conclusion. So basically, you do the issue, You show that, talk about the law that talks about the issue. That's like resolution. References, I guess it would be. I don't know why I said resolution. Analysis, where you then apply those references, and then conclusion. This is not Iraq. Why? Does Bar Nissim think? I mean, I don't know. This guy's the chosen people. I'm not gonna. And Ethan's been good at picking lawyers before. Maybe I'm just retarded. I mean, I'm not. I don't know anything. I'm just talking shit online. So. Okay. 2016, they were sued for copyright. This is not. I wouldn't have this. Like, this is only important when you're trying to prove a point to the internet about how you're not a hypocrite. This doesn't matter for this case. This does. H3 podcast. Honestly, the only part of the section we needed was this one. Denim's the alt-left's answer to... What is this? Why is this in the lawsuit? What? Denim's LARPs. This is kind of Greeristic. This is kind of like a Greer lawsuit when you're saying shit. I mean, it's not as bad. The Greer lawsuits are fucking hilarious. They're worse than this, but no one cares what Denim, like, just cut all this. And it's funny. Again, this is good for like a I'm pwning you YouTube video, bad for a lawsuit. Loyal and ardent defenders, don't introduce Hassan into this. Hassan is not, you're not suing Hassan. No one cares about Hassan. Here's the thing. The only motive aspect that we need from Denims is she showed the videos to steal views. We don't need to know about Hassan. We don't need to know about why she wants to steal the views, only that she did. I guess it's because it speaks to why she's malicious, but you have so much evidence here that she's malicious that do you really need to tell the whole story? She wrote, why do we need to know that Denims likes Osama? Like, this comes across like what Greer will do in his lawsuits, where he'll like talk about how all this mean stuff gets fed on Kiwi farms, and the idea is he's thinking about it sort of like this is like a rhetorical, you're talking like trying to convince someone in real life, not like a legal writing thing. Like, this is the sort of stuff you say in a trial where you're trying to convince a jury, not something you say to the judge. A judge will not care about this. They're not going to suddenly hate Denims because she did this. That's why you have judges, that they don't get biased like that. So talking about terror, like, again, totally irrelevant. Cut all this. BDSM attire? What the fuck? Cut all this. What is this? Reactgate. Okay, this is relevant. This is where some of her quotes come from. Whereas she doesn't care about Frere use. Keep this. JXC. Maybe keep this because it talks about group viewing session. I would not introduce Jay into this. Jay might not be a reliable witness, like a interlocutor. Now deleted. Good. This is what you want. Good. You want this? I would only include this insofar as you keep specific statements she made. Yes, this is all good. This is from that video that he posted. This is honestly, this whole like debate where she says all that crazy shit, this should have been this whole section, not all the weird terrorist shit. Good. All these quotes, great. Good. H3 Snark, cut all that. I'm not even going to read this. Fuck this. This shouldn't even be in here. Why do we have pictures of fucking Hitler with Ryan Gosling? And Heinrich Himmler with Ryan Gosling? Holy shit, I love Snark now. It's literally me. Look, guys. Why am I in this lawsuit? Whoa. Am I getting sued? They put a picture of me in this lawsuit. It's literally me. Why isn't he driving? Quote from Al Husani. Great. Yeah, cut all this. All the H3 Snark stuff. Notice that this is the longest, the part that shouldn't be here is the longest thing. This is what I mean. The minute you start taking the scalpel to legal writing, you'll be amazed how much shit can go away and how much better it makes the argument. Okay, good. Show your takedowns. Good. DMC takedowns. No, don't do the ones in Reddit. Show the DMC takedown to the video. No, not the Snark post. No. Show this. Yeah, okay. Now, the other problem is if you did go through DMCA, through Reddit and YouTube, this is a very autistic argument but having done, I have a personal interest in the DMCA, and there's some weird stuff about it where, because of the way the DMCA works, you file a claim, right? And the whole point of filing the claim is it induces the host to take the stuff down. And if they don't, and there is infringement, it makes them liable. The idea, of course, being that hypothetically, if H3 sent a DMCA to YouTube over, and I know she's not on YouTube, but just stick with me here, sent it to YouTube about a video that's what this whole Denims thing. And it's, let's say Denim streamed it on YouTube or Twitch. Well, so they send it to Twitch. Why am I even going through YouTube? So let's say Ethan sends a DMCA to Twitch, and Twitch says fuck off. That encumbers liability on Twitch. That's the whole idea, is to essentially these platforms to be vigorous about copyright. This is why false claims work. Like, that's the whole thing, is if you put a false claim, YouTube and Twitch usually would much rather just take it down, even if the claim is false, which is why my proposal has been to change the standard for prosecuting false claims. But anyway, the point is, why aren't you suing Twitch, Ethan? Is it because they're bigger and because you don't think this is really a serious lawsuit? I wonder about that. Because you get a lot of money for suing Twitch. Like crowdfunding and shit. People fucking hate Twitch for good reason. So fraudulent counter notifications. Okay, so arguing against the DMCA generally is not fraudulent unless you lie in the claim. The problem, okay, now we're getting into some stuff that I have some interest in, which is he's going to run up against what I think should be changed, which is that the standard of proving fraud in DMCAs is like impossible. Like, the actual standard is almost impossible to prove. This is another reason why you don't want any of this. So I'm going to skip the H3 Snark. Look at how much of this is H3 Snark. Yeah, you should cut all this. So he registered the nuke. I already said he didn't really need to do that, but whatever. The nuke. You don't need to know what it is. Like, I don't even think I'd talk about what the nuke is. I just say it's my video, and it's... Hassan radicalizes his audience with genocidal. Who's the audience here? I get the feeling that Ethan thinks that what this is he needs to convince the judge that Hassan and Denim suck, and then that's why he should win the lawsuit. That's not the way lawsuits work. Twitch parody sketch... The Hezbollah. We don't need any of this. I mean, I'm glad he has timestamps. The only reason you refer to the nuke is just to refer to how much of it they stole. Here's the runtime of it. Here's how much of it did not have commentary over the course of these videos. That's what you need in here. Like, you've already got her intent. You got the hardest part, which was in that interview, like proving her intent. What we need here is how much of it did they actually steal? Because then that's how you calculate. That's part of the way that you calculate your economic loss. Who cares about biasing? None of this matters. We are not litigating Twitch's policies. If we were, you'd be suing Twitch. Good. Yeah, all right. Now we're actually talking about them finally, like, doing it. Promotes Denims. Who cares? The law of period. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So this is Iraq. Okay, so I think you've proven substitution. So what are the damages? Okay, it's not transformative. Good. But the way you prove that is by showing how much of the video they showed. I thought these people were supposed to be good at lawsuits. Well, maybe I'm just stupid. Hey, a lawyer wrote this. I'm just some guy online, man. I don't know anything. I mean, I think they are. To answer your question a little more seriously, I think they are. I'm increasingly of the opinion that this is not a real lawsuit. What do I mean by that? Who's the audience? This is why I asked, who is the audience of the lawsuit? Because I feel like the audience of this lawsuit is not actually the judge. It's everybody else who cares about this. Because if this was just like a 40-page 80-page manifesto about why denim sucks, this is kind of effective. And about why H3 Snark sucks, This is kind of effective for people who want more than just a video. But to a judge, convincing them that these people suck is not how you win a copyright lawsuit. And so that's kind of why I think it's not a real lawsuit. The problem is, okay, let's say that he's just doing this to just troll. Like he just wants to do lawfare. Okay? Now he won't just say that because it's even though it seems apparent, but he's just trying to do lawfare. The problem is with lawsuits like this, like, first of all, you could lose. Losing might be expensive, and maybe he has the money, he doesn't care, but why do you want to enrich these people? Why do you want to end up having to pay potentially even something punitive? That would be the worst case. I don't think that'll happen. But there's that. And then there's, why not just have this video where you just destroy them and you make this argument solely for YouTube and don't attach a lawsuit to it? Because this, like, let's say we agree with him on this video. Just for the sake of argument. Let's say he get a total W from this. But then this fails, which I think it will. And we won't know for years because they're going to have to go through all this stuff. But this apparently is not going to go through SLAPP. It almost makes me think, so like one of the things in the Noah Samson lawsuit was that I think it's having trouble with SLAPP. Did he think that just because he doesn't have to go through SLAPP, it means you just sort of win? Because SLAPP is just like the proto option. There's still Rule 15 motions, which are failure to state a claim, which I actually don't think would apply to this. I think he'd survive the Rule 15. And then there's like just actually arguing the issues of the case, like having like a trial or whatever, or a settlement. And they're not going to settle. Like Denims wouldn't settle this because she's going to get all this money from her fans. So like you could still lose that just based off of the claims. And then you just have this giant L and all this money you wasted. Okay, good. We've got references talking about the Warhol case. I would say that he is kind of relying very much on Warhol, but I mean, that's how this sort of law works. It's all like 3 cases. When the commentary, yeah, okay. Is he gonna, I just wonder how he's gonna deal with Akilah Hughes versus Sargon. If he's gonna even talk about it. Because it is relevant to this. Yeah, this is all good. This is all good. All these arguments. Yeah, this is, don't have this. Again, you don't need to refer to your old case. It's not relevant. Okay, good. Send a market harm. Yeah, let's see this. Is he gonna add up all our super chats? Is he gonna add up all the views? That's what I want to see, because you need to do that. He keeps referring back to his own case, and I really just don't think that's relevant. Okay, so we have the issue, this is the references, and now we have the analysis applying it to Denims. For several minutes. Now, we need exact. This is the time, man. This is the time to get autistic about this, okay? Frequently for several minutes. How many minutes? Exactly how much time did not have commentary? Now, you might say, well, that's kind of dishonest, right? Because, like, there's just some times where you've already said something, you don't want to repeat it. Sure, but you want to put it in here. Okay, here we go. Yes, this is what you want. Good. I'm glad this is here. Add it all up and put it here at the end. Not frequently for 7 minutes, for this amount of time. Okay. For 20, this is what I mean. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Here we go. Hold on. It was an hour. Isn't the video an hour and 40 minutes? Okay, this is good. 4 minutes of commentary. 43 minutes of partially related commentary. There we go. This is exactly what I wanted. 88% of the total runtime. Now, this can be argued with. There's a lot of ways to argue against this, but this needed to be in here. 88% is just nothing. Good. And the screen size, a little autistic, but sure. It's part of the argument. I get it. You want to put in what you want. Like, these are material arguments. This is the stuff that we shouldn't have had 20 pages on snark. It should just be this. Good. This is them bringing up. She directly said, "Watch this," so he doesn't get views. Do we have the count of the views? That's what you should. This is good. This is the best part of the whole. This and look, this has only been what? How many pages has this been? The start of this Iraq section. This. So 41. This has been 9 pages. Okay, this 9 pages has done more work than the last 40. This is. You should have had the intro, the narration history should have been literally 3 sections. I already explained which ones, and then this, and cut everything else. Yep, here we go, the views. Good. Good. This is what you want. Watch party, yes, and she even used the words. Good job. And this is all good. Yeah, this is exactly, this is exactly what you want. Just showing all this. All right, so this is all good with timestamp showing exactly. Again, all the H3 snark shit, cut that. Okay, now we're getting into bullshit. Hold on. Yeah, okay, I take that back. Parts of this are not relevant. There are parts where they complain about them praising Israel. You don't need that. You don't need that. I'm glad that they're going through the timestamps to show because there's a claim he made where it was like, well, 20% was partially related. You do need to clarify that, because otherwise they'll just say, no, it was related, right? So you do kind of need to talk about that. But again, the way some of this is written, like them talking about Zionism and shit, comes across as, I hope the judge reads this and loves and thinks the person's a dick, and so reads it my way. What is he going to ask for here? No. Never don't give a number. Always give a number. You want to give a number, because if you don't give a number, it's going to be out of your control and you get screwed. Because then you get the $1 shit, okay? Because it's like, yeah, you're right, but there wasn't any damages. And even if the number you give is retarded, and it usually is, the initial plaintiff, or the initial complaint number is usually something like ridiculous. It's basically the most you could possibly ask for. You want to have a number here. This needed to not be in this lawsuit. This entire claim, like the mods cut this entirely, cut everything to do with it. To be awarded defendants in each of their profits plus losses. What's the number? Like, just at least spitball. Just say they made this many super chats. Hia Bar Nassim. So yeah, this is of the 2 claims here, the one against Denims I actually think is not terrible. For something like this that's so hard to actually win on, it's not bad. And that's just because Denims is like really stupid and said dumb stuff. I just worry that the H3 snark thing is a poison pill in this. Also, there's some stuff he said in this video that might come back to bite him. All right, let's just take a little bit at the hijabi Jabba the Hutt one. I imagine it's going to be pretty much the same thing, except maybe not have the claims about H3 snark, which ironically might actually make this one stronger. The problem is this one doesn't have that perfect Denims interview where she just straight up says like, yeah, here are all the factors of copyright infringement and fair use and why I violate them. Again, okay. Yeah, this is probably the same, this part. I already said why you should cut most of those. Damn, she's in LA too. Are all these people in LA? Damn, we should, like... Yeah. When is LA gonna get smitten? Alright, this is, The fuck? Why do we have a terrorism in here? And here's making fun of Frogan for being up and coming 3 years in a row. I guarantee that's in here. Okay, who cares whether she got a D or F on this stuff? You know, it's funny. It's so clear that a lot of this is to make the judge dislike defendant. And then hope that that means that they just sort of give Ethan the benefit of the doubt. But having it be 64 pages... I mean, what was that last one? It was 80. And I said that you could cut like literally 35 of the first 40 pages. And then the last like 30 are good. The Zionist therapist. Like, again, these are funny, but this is not what you have in the fucking lawsuit. Who cares about any of this? No judge is going to want to read through this. No judge is going to care. This is something you want to read in the QE Farms thread. Honestly, what would be really funny is if someone takes these history segments, like takes the text out and then just posts it as the thread for these guys. I think both these guys already have threads, but like this would be a good QE Farms thread. It's just not a good lawsuit. That part of it. No, we still got Snark in here. So no, they're both going to be encumbered by this. And look, I'm in this lawsuit too. What the fuck? Why am I in both these lawsuits as Ryan Gosling driving as the Mufti of fucking Palestine? Damn. I did not want to get involved with this. I'm gonna have to defend myself. I'm gonna have to respond to this lawsuit with my own my own legal writing, I guess. I'll have to get a lawyer. I don't know how to legal write. Rampant copyright infringement. Okay, so yeah, H3 Sark. Let me guess. This is gonna be another 20 pages that we should have cut. And this is the one shorter too, so it makes me think that there's not going to be the 30 pages of every single timestamp of why Rogan sucks. And again, we don't need a description of every part of the nuke. This is more like you want the judge to know what it's about and say he loves you. You know. Damn, how much of this is not material? This one's worse. If this one doesn't have 30 pages of every timestamp of her saying that she doesn't care about fair use and then breaking down her entire response and how much of it is not commentary, this one is just going to be worse categorically. So this is the same. Should be the same. Which is good. So I think it was fine. Okay, here we go. Frogan, do we have numbers? Numbers. No, most of it's just about fucking... Well, the parts about Reddit. Here we go. It's good that they have the speed here, too, because as strange as that sounds, that could be an argument, too, is, oh, well, it's faster, so it's not the same. For 1 minute and 51 seconds. You need more than that, man. For a 2-hour video, 1 minute and 54 seconds it does not a not fair use make. Again, glad we have all the timestamps of the of dinner. That's what you want. Okay, Rogan fails to address a single substantive point raised in the Hezbollah section. No, what you need to say here is that Rogan just doesn't say anything. The judge is not going to care whether Frogan pwned the Hezbollah section with facts and logic. The judge is not judging here about who's right about Hezbollah. Okay, that's not what the lawsuit is about. The lawsuit is about whether Frogan said anything at all that was pertinent. All right, calling out chat for saying she's not giving commentary. I can see why that's why you'd want that in there. Makes utterances that are in... Yeah, again, are you trying to take down her response about why it's a bad argument? Or, I don't know, at least he has a bunch of timestamps in here and shows how much of it is not Hold on. Yeah, look, this is like him directly arguing against what she says in it, which is irrelevant. So much of this is kvetching. It's just like, her argument's bad here, or there's Jews or whatever, and it's like, that's not what this is about, copyright. Yeah, I don't know. I'll say this, the Denims one is better than I expected for the parts that are about Denims. The Frogan one is weaker. I still think this was a mistake. It's just why open yourself up to the L? Like, you're already ahead. He's got kind of a psychopathic smile here. You're already ahead. You're already winning, etc., etc. Why even open yourself up to losing a lawsuit to these people by failing to, like, successfully state a claim? I don't know. I don't think either of them have over 50% chance of going to trial. And I don't know why either of them would settle. Because they're going to get unlimited money from their audience. So why would they settle? The Denims one is better, though. And it would have been so much better if he had cut the H3 Snark shit. It would have been half the length. I don't know. I don't know. It really feels like, you know, Rekieta said about the Harden body cam thing. He's like, oh, well, Harden didn't want to do this, but Ethan made him. Which doesn't make sense because it's actually Harden suing the city, not Josh. But that is kind of what this feels like. This feels like Ethan went to his lawyer, the bar in Shalom, whatever like demon name that guy has, pitched this lawsuit, showed a bunch of this evidence. It kind of like there's something there. I'll give it to him. There's like parts of this that are hard to prove that he actually has receipts on. And then like insisted all this other shit was in it. Insisted that this be about like anti-Semitism. Insisted that this be about responding to the arguments made in the video. And insisted on like inserting like his own history and how this is saving YouTube or whatever, which is not what you want in a lawsuit. You do not want to go to the judge and say, I'm doing this to save YouTube. You want to go to the judge and say, I have been harmed and I want compensation. As far as Anissa, some crazy person went to their house and showed that it's out of furniture. This is useful in that it proves my theory that they're fleeing to Canada permanently, probably because they think they're going to be killed. But don't do this. This is fucking crazy stalker-ass behavior, going to their house to see this, especially going up to the window. And also, where is it? This. I was worried. I was worried for a minute there that after the coach interview, they were just going to flee to Canada. It might even kind of do something smart, like go offline. But no, we've got a declaration that Anissa is returning to the battlefield, which is just hilarious to me because she already did this last year. She's like, I'm going to get back into streaming. And then she did one of the fucking craziest streams I've ever seen, where she talked about how she deserves to be put on a leash, how she's crazy, how she beat up the A-logs. And I think we're going to get something similar. He's going to get Jewed by his lawyer. Yeah. It's funny because he kind of says that here at the beginning. He's like, I'm going to make my lawyer money. Look.
Hi there. My name is Ethan Klein, and my favorite hobby is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. Today, I invite you into my home to share my favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney.
Like, unironically, that's what's going to happen here. Do you know? And it's funny, too, because these, like, 80-page lawsuits. You don't get paid by the page, but you get paid for time. And writing an 80-page lawsuit like that, that's expensive, man. That's like tens of thousands of dollars, especially for a kind of a niche field of law like copyright. So he seems to be aware of that, and I don't think he's going to get that money back. He makes a joke here that he wants them to fundraise so that there's money to get, but that assumes so many things. I think it's either just going to get thrown out or they're going to settle for nothing. Like, that would be the one way it does settle. They settle for just nothing. Like, no one gets paid out anything. And then he'll just be out a bunch of money. I guess that's better than just straight up taking the L. I mean, people are going to rightfully say it's an L. But, yeah, I don't know. I think this is sort of... He's overreach. He's overconfident. He's doing something like this that I don't know. Again, the lawsuits are better than I expected. I was worried that he was trying to set a new standard for fair use. I said that at the beginning. I take that back now. He's not doing that. He is applying some pretty conventional fair use stuff in there. It doesn't look like he's trying to create a new standard. He is arguing within the body of law that already exists and the standards that already exist. So, of the two elements I said, I had an issue with this. Number two, I don't think is there, which is good for him. All right, I have a game for us. Unless, I mean, if there's something that happened on the Persiv stream or anything else you want me to look at, I will. But while, if anyone wants to put in the chat, I'm sure that people who are into this sort of historical battle stuff already know about this game, but I just found this demo the other day, and it's so Kino, and I just want to play it for a little bit on stream. Okay, so this is somehow a free demo, even though there's a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of crazy stuff in here. And, you know, there's been a couple games like this that try to do this, like, medieval battle simulation stuff, like HEMA. And a lot of them have one problem or another. They're either, like, too in the weeds with the HEMA stuff, or they're too, they're just not, like, made well, like, designed to be, like, a good game. Oh, I'm about to die. As you can tell, I'm a fucking pro at this game. You know what's funny? I actually did get pretty far in the challenge mode. I got to like tier 4 or 5, but what always gets me and slows me down is the boss. The champion of the first one is basically you have no weapons and he has an axe and that's it. And his axe will kill you in one fucking shot. And so sometimes you just don't pick something up, but while you're picking it up, he kills you. Might have to do some stuff with the mouse sensitivity. Because I haven't got my settings right on this game. Or on this computer. I have it on the other computer. This guy just fall over for no reason? He's just done?
Driver is through it. No need for no proof.
This is the Battle of Jim's driveway. That's what we're trying to get to. It's the higher level stuff.
Gotch hooks. Red. Zones.
Ralph in Portugal. Like, no. Discombobulate for real. Get up, fucker. I ain't hear no bell. Oh, I really am. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, the long candlestick was really good.
Swipe.
It's funny because he's harder than some of the other later bosses. Oh, fuck. Get off me, fucker! Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Pick it up. There we go.
The love of God. Do me no harm, but let me leave. No! Mercy, good side.
What the hell, dude? You just blocked me from getting the other guy.
I pray. Let me go hands on heart. Let no dark. Be have mercy on me. Egar. Mercy. Crikey. Not because of my godness. Mercy. The love of God. Do me no harm.
Okay, there we go. This is what I mean. Like one hit like that. It does seem to be kind of RNG a little bit on that guy. Well, it's not. I mean, I just could be better, obviously. But I thought I was at least able to pick up a weapon. Yeah, I know. I got totally out. He literally split my skull in half. It's pretty peanut. This guy's surrendering already? Alright.
Swipe. Zones. Gosh. Blimey.
There we go.
much has
Candlestick.
been lost.
Candlestick
While
is
lost
OP,
alone.
guys. Candlestick is meta.
Let reason rule and wear rage.
Give me a good one. There we go, there we go, there we go. No, no, no! Okay. Come on! Oh shit, cut my arm off. My hand. Gotta stay under the act. You're gonna bleed out.
My God's bones!
This is how we win. I'm gonna kick him to death.
Gosh hooks.
Come on. It's a very advanced technique, guys. Some Eastern, this is some Aikido. Just kicking the balls over and over again. Come on! Yes! He lost the axe! Oh my god, we might win. No, no. Yes! We're teabagging him. Yeah!
I am at the mercy.
This is how you win, guys.
And I got this.
I don't know how we're gonna regrow the hand, but we somehow do.
Turn and leave from this path, ere it be too late.
We'll do some.
Swipe!
Okay. Now we have the axe. See, I don't want to do spoilings because then I don't know what weapon I'm gonna get.
Let us parlay then rather than partition.
True, let us parlay. Oh no! Alright. This guy is easier than the last guy usually, but just gotta keep either be on the inside. Okay, or you just do that. Alright, what do we want? Well... See, the downside of having the longsword, you can kill guys really quick, but you die really quick, so you still don't have armor. And so sometimes You'll literally die in one hit. Like, you'll just get near the guy and then get hit. And you have to start. It sucks. See? Oh, fuck! Come on, surrender, surrender!
Schnauzer!
Yeah. Sorry, bud.
Vilnius!
What did he hit? Are you alive? Yes. I think I cut his head off. Okay, one more, one more. Oh, fuck! Surrender! Wow, I'm surprised I did not die there. More. Let's go. Oh, fuck. I tried to stab him. I missed. Okay, okay. Okay, this guy has a better sword than me, so he usually kills you literally one hit if you're not careful. And yeah, exactly. It might be worse just charging at that guy with a stab and just you either kill him or you don't. It's when he has the better sword like that. I'm not very good at blocking. Okay, at least we have the axe. Oh, good thing we freaking picked that up.
Me.
There we go. Kept missing him with the actual axe. Okay. Okay, dude. Oh! I suck. I'll be good at this game someday. I can feel it. There's sometimes I am really good at this game. Let's do some of the night guys. I really like, you know, obviously the earlier tiers, what makes them a little hard is that you die in literally one hit. But at these high tiers, it really is more like a battle of endurance, like it should be. It's like genuinely hard to kill some of these guys with all their. It's just only you have to like you have to exhaust them. Well, we have to be able to actually run the game first of all. I guess this is a demo. I'll have to turn the graphics down. Come on, come on. Oh boy. That was a big downgrade. Why did it turn the resolution scaling? That's interesting that you can't set the resolution scaling yourself. I wonder if this would run better on DirectX. The other computer is getting installed. Alright, let's see. It's crazy this is free. Because there's a lot here, like, especially if you, like, are trying to go up all the tiers. I mean, I guess it's not going to be free eventually, but yeah, I really like how in the, upper tier battles with knights, there is, like, actual endurance as an aspect. And you really do need to, like, get them on the ground and then actually, like, go in for the kill, assuming they don't just surrender. Oh, alright. Am I gonna die? Yeah, I'm sure.
Be not because of.
Maybe I could have won that one. I guess there's no reason to surrender.
Have mercy on me.
Okay, okay, calm down. Oh shit. Lost my weapon.
Seeking we are through for our people's sake.
Our people. Surrender, dude. It's over. There we go.
What gain is there in bloodshed?
Kick meta.
By God's bones! Dark. Zounds! Eggard! Gotch hooks!
Come on, drop the frickin' axe, bro. What? Okay, that wasn't me. That axe had no movement. And it cut me in half. I did everything correct. I did nothing wrong. How much you get DSP to play this game? He would spurt out. It would only last like probably 2 rounds because he would just get so fucking mad, but I don't know, maybe funny. What am I saying? I think DSP does this for me. That's the problem. I don't even know how people cover him at all. Come on, buddy. Lay down. Lay down. Stay down! There we go. Alright. I think that guy's dead. There we go.
We seek no quarrel with thee, nigh the kin. By God's bones!
guy must have balls of steel. I kicked him right in the balls. Didn't even flinch. Come on. It's over, dude. Where's the rat? There we go.
Thy bravery is proved. No need for more.
I knew that was about to happen. The minute you get like a certain distance away from him, he just takes you out. Let's do maybe it'll be able to load these battles. Because we don't have full armor yet. Doesn't seem to like the armor.
Tiny hands, good sire. Let us not bloodshed come.
Uh-oh, we're about to die. We're gonna die. I forgot that this battle type sometimes puts you with the higher tier guys. Ooh, ooh! Got him right in the head. There we go. Alright, alright. I think I just hit my own guy. Oh, did I get him? Oh, that was our high tier guy. Are you done? He's definitely done that. Okay. Well, I took one of my own guys out, and then took one of theirs out, and he just got impaled. Good job, dude.
Let cooler heaviness prevail on this day.
Stuck. Yeah, that is one problem with some of these weapons, the pole arms, they'll straight up get stuck in guys, and then you just gotta fuck. Like the axe, that happens to the axe all the time. What'd you just say? Shut the fuck. There we go.
Dodge hooks.
Yeah, see, I'm stuck.
Mercy, good sire.
Might we not find
no,
a path of peace?
And I got this.
Well, this guy's a spike stick too. That's why this guy really needs a secondary weapon.
Mercy, have mercy on me.
The higher tier guys do have them.
Thy bravery is proved. No need.
Oh, come on, come on. Come on. Really, dude? Come on, surrender. It's over, dude. Well, let's get a different weapon. What is this? Does this have a blade on it? Might be a little too long. Some of the ones that are too long are really hard to use. Because the swing is just too slow. And you have to keep them at a like the perfect distance. Oh, buddy. It's tough. See, look how far he has to be for you to actually get the blade on him. And look how slow you swing. You really gotta hit him with the first shot. And again, at this level, you don't even have any secondary weapons, so you're just kind of fucked if he gets on the so. Okay. See, this is what I mean. There we go. I guess you can kind of shorten the length of its killing, of its like effective range by doing the two-handed grasp. That's good. This one is just like you poke him, and if you poke him, he dies. If you don't, you're kind of just fucked. Yeah, buddy. It's tough. Did the guy just fall over? I guess he bled out. Oh, did I cut this guy's throat? Are you gonna make it, dude? It doesn't look like he's gonna make it. That's tough.
Thy bravery is proved. No.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, pick.
Zones.
Why am I locked into him and not this guy? Oh, did he lose his shield? The lock-on could use a little bit. This guy is literally... Look at this spear sticking out of his head. Did he bleed out? I don't think I hit him. I think I smacked him with my shield, but that's it.
What gain is there in blood spilt? Wicks us.
Bonked on the head with the freaking. Yeah, it really does not like the guys in full play, probably because of all the physics. Okay, okay, okay. Should really not be 1v1ing this guy. Especially with a machete. I know use a mace. Come on, is my own guy trying to fucking kill me here? Is that my own guy or what? Get him, dude. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, just rolled over. Look at this axe. This super axe.
Hold them, peace. For violence are made, but wow.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, this type does not have enough armor to be only with like no shield. At least if you're fighting like better armored guys. Because if they just do like a downward attack right on your shoulders, you don't have a plate there.
Let us parley then rather than
half
partition.
Plate. Go down, buddy. It's over. Come on. There we go. Alright, he's done. Oh, that would suck getting hit back there. Look, I'm surprised that doesn't fucking KO me. Heavy accent like this. This guy with the big shield is gonna be tough. Not only does he have better plate than me, but he's got the shield. Oh, never mind. No shield anymore. There we go. There we go. I guess this guy also has a machete. I got a dagger. Yeah, the problem with the dagger in this, the like punching dagger should be way more important in this game. The problem is that like stabbing, like doing precision stabbing is really hard. Maybe there's a way to do it and I'm just suck, but the way it really should work is you like exhaust guys till they're on the ground, then you pull out the punching dagger and finish them off. And that dynamic does kind of exist, but you don't use punching dagger on the ground. You just sort of bash them over the head over and over. Oh, we all have this. Oh, fuck! Headboard! Come on. Walk it off, dude. Yeah, I don't really blame him. I'm not gonna walk that one off. I wonder if I could do the better nights, but just do 1v1. Maybe it'll be able to load that. Because I think the problem is just with the plate, with all the physics, the game really does not. It's hard to run. Harder to run. I'm just surprised how much is in this for a free demo. Okay, here we go. Let's try single combat. I like this night class. It seems to be the best armored one, and you have so many weapons. Because the other thing this game has, which a lot of these don't, is the shoulder shield there. That is supposed to be a real shield you can take off your shoulder and pull. And you can't do that in this. Right in the shoulder, right? It's like one of their weak points. Yeah, looks like we got him right under the arm. That's why they would have, what are they called, brevets? Little circles that they would put around, their like, right in the armpit. Specifically to stop that from happening. Look, I'm stuck. Yeah, look. But yeah, look, you can take the shield off your shoulder. I guess you have to use this first. Oh, wait. Oh, you have to... So you have the long sword, you have the punching dagger. Am I moving? And if you drop the longsword, hold on. And then look, you can pull the shield off. Oh wait, no. I guess you do this first, and then this. Yeah, there we go. Look. So yeah, at least it seems to be able to run when it's just 1v1. Ooh, like I'm right in the neck there. Actually, no, I think he has the neck there. Oh, lost his shield.
Me.
Don't. Come on, come on. Come over.
Darn.
There we go. Oh. His legs are failing. There we go. Come on.
Let nothing hand be heavy upon me.
I'm not very good at aiming.
I cry.
There we go. Shut up.
Consider ere the battalion joineth the
It'd be nice to see a little bit more, like it could just be an option of visibility on some of the stats, like consciousness. Like, you can obviously tell when you like hit him in the head and their knees start to like buckle. I wonder how that's like how that works, calculated stats wise. It'd be kind of interesting to see. There we go. There we go. See? We're gonna go in. Come on. I'm losing 2. I think it's over. There we go.
Let us straighten our swords in honor.
Oh, the other option there, the Brave Stand, is kind of cool, especially with these high-level guys, because it's like one other armored guy and then 3 that aren't, so you have to like fight them all, and it's actually pretty winnable. Come on.
Crikey!
Come on.
Zounds!
There we go.
I pray, let me go hence unharmed. Have mercy on me. I spared the beef. For the love of God, do me no harm, but let me live, and be not the cause of my death.
Oh, I forgot there's like bullet time in this game. Okay, this guy's got the big sword. There's like a big executioner's type sword that's really, like, even guys in armor are gonna fuck you up just because it's so big and heavy. I think that's what this guy has. There we go. There we go. I think I actually killed him that time. Usually with all the armor, you just kind of
what gain is that in bloodshed?
beat them down until they give up. Oh, I got my arm. Oh, this is tough. Oh, no. Okay, okay.
Now, sir.
My other arm is broken, I can't control it. Just have to beat this guy. The pommel, probably. Oh! Well, that one was close. I'm waiting for a Brave Stand to come up again to see if we can run that one. Oh! Got my arm again. Yeah. This guy always gets my arm. I think it's because he does the half sorting and then pokes it in through the gap. Come on.
Coward!
Oh, fuck. I think I just cut my own arm. On him. Can I even... Oh, yeah, okay. Hold on. See, I could pull the knife out with my other arm, but I can't use it, so then I had to switch arms. Oh, did I just drop it? Okay, this is bad. Oh, fuck. Yeah, it's over.
No!
Oh, I just barely surrendered in time. Oh no, I died, that's why. I thought he pulled his sword away because I surrendered.
Seeking we are proud for our people's sake.
Come on, give me Brave Stand. That one has less armor. I think I could do that one. Oh, this isn't the biggest.
Louster!
Be heavy upon me. I cry thee mercy.
Too much hath been lost, while loss and more.
There we go. Come on. Damn, I suck. Why? Shit. Now he's a hammer. He's unarmed. He's probably surrendered, dude. I think it's over.
We seeking no quarrel with thee, my kin. Wanderer!
Fucking shield. The shield and hammer is a good combo against this. Kind of just have to have sword. Ooh. Think we got his arm? No. Keep hitting him on the left here. Trying to hit him right in the throat. I think there's an opening there. There we go. Damn. How'd he get up?
Die me! Gosh!
This guy really wants to win. Stuck. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I got his throat. Surprised. Oh, here we go, Brady. Let's see if it can run this. Kind of. So the guys with no armor, you kind of kill instantly. I still might lose this though. Shit. Be nice if I could get that guy to drop his shield and pick it up himself.
Have mercy on me. For the love of God.
Ooh, right in the face. This guy with no armor, he's got to go. Just one good hit on him. There we go. That guy's dead. The other thing I like about this game is it's not all like it has skeletons. Like there's clearly a skeletal structure for all the guys because you can like break bones. It's good for hammers and stuff. There we go. That guy's fun. All right, buddy. Really? You want to do this? Kind of underdressed.
Why? Bind the hand, good sire. Let us not bloodshed come.
Oh, we got like 2 head hits there. Oh, yeah, this guy. Let's go and turn him on. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, we got KO'd right there.
It is too late.
This guy's the same loadout as me? Oh no, I think his sword is lighter. Oh, fuck. Okay. Get some distance on this guy. Okay, it's not. Oh, fuck. We're not going for that. Okay, this is bad. Oh shit, wrong arm.
They better take it back.
Yeah, I don't know how to do this one. Once I get lucky. Get up! Get up! Get up! I'm gonna stab myself. I think I literally just stabbed myself with my own dagger. That's the other thing I would add to this game is instant replay. So you can enter camera mode when you're doing a replay. That would be cool. Alright. Well, I think I'm probably going to stream again tomorrow to make up for Wednesday. I hope stuff gets found on Offkai. Maybe I'll call into Persip's thingy then. We'll see. We shall see. And remember, go make a throwaway account on Kiwi Farms and post red text in the King of Casino thread. Rise up.